Now next, you're going to see the pectoralis major. And the pectoralis major can sometimes trick people because it's got two heads. So this line right here does not exist. This is all just one straight up pectoralis major. And you're also going to find this muscle on top of it. This is the pecto antebrachialis, which sits on top of the pectoralis major. So if I was to move this aside like this would be the pectoralis major still. Now this thing up here, this is the clavotrapezius from the other side. We usually don't test for the clavotrapezius from this side. I know, doesn't it? So, what's next? Let's go deep on the chest. So, this one looks complicated, doesn't it? Sort of simple. We have one line right here. This is the rectus abdominis from down here. Also, we have this trapezoid right here. This is transverse costarum. Cool, isn't it? Next to transverse costarum, you're going to see three muscles, and not all of you are going to have them. They're very tiny and hard to see sometimes. So we're going to go through this as well as we can. This guy in the center, that's easy. That's scalenus longus. Everybody should be able to tell me scalenus longus. It's a strap in the center. So next to the strap in the center, you might also see scalenus anterior. Anterior is the one closest to the midline of the body. And then scalenus posterior is this guy back here, farther from the midline of the body and always very tiny and hard to see. Then we have serratus ventralis, which are these guys. And they end about right here. And right here they become levator scapulae dorsalis. Then underneath the scapula, you'll find subscapularis. Pretty cool, huh? That's all the muscles of the deep chest. Cool, isn't that? Going right along. Let's go to the other side. So, this guy has a pin in him. That's not good. But anyway. So, let's do the trapezius muscles. Now, who can tell me what the trapezius muscles are homologous to? The cucullaris. That's good. So, this one up here, this one is clavotrapezius. This square one right here, that's acromiotrapezius. And you actually come down here. Acromiotrapezius. And then this one at the end that has a pin in it, this one is spinotrapezius. You can usually pick it up and flap it around. Then we have this guy right here, who sometimes trips people up. In your lab in the lab atlas that you guys bought from Saul Witchnitzer, this one isn't marked on your dorsal thing. This is actually levator scapulae ventralis. Good thing to know. Then we have the deltoid muscles. Here is spinodeltoid, acromiodeltoid, which is jammed up here, this little triangle right here. And then we have clavodeltoid, or also known as clavobrachialis. Either one is acceptable. Okay, great. Now let's take a look at the deep shoulder. Okay, this one could be a little tough for me. So, let me see something real quick. Sorry. That is scalenus. Okay, so this guy right here, this is rhomboideus capitis. Underneath rhomboideus capitis, in this general area, you're going to find splenius. It's just this general area. And then moving next to that, this one is rhomboideus minor. Even though it's bigger, it's rhomboideus minor. So it goes from about here to about here. Oops, I'm sorry about that. This one actually has a weird one. Oh my, this one doesn't have a rhomboideus major. Oh wait, there it is. This is rhomboideus major, and
your hat's in the way.
Oh dear.
Hold on. Rhomboideus major is coming right off.
Oh, is that it?
Yep, comes right off the edge
Oh,
of the
that is-
scapula, just like the teres major does.
Oh, right,
Then you
okay.
got rhomboid minor and rhomboideus capitis.
Okay, so let's go through this one more time. Rhomboideus capitis, rhomboideus minor, and then this one right over here, which looks a little weird. This one's rhomboideus major. Okay, cool. Now let's look at some of the ones on the scapula. We have no, not suprascapularis. No, it's suprascapularis. Suprascapularis. Below that, below the spine of the scapula, this white line is infrascapularis. Below that, you're going to find this guy right down here. This is teres major. And teres minor is so tiny that we probably won't find it. Okay, cool. That's all that part. Let's look at the deep back. So, right down here, this is levator. This is serratus ventralis from the other side. This would be right here, serratus dorsalis. Underneath serratus dorsalis, you're going to see these muscles in here. So we have three muscles here. This guy, and this guy. This guy is iliocostalis. This guy is longissimus dorsi. And this one is spinalis dorsi. Okay? So, that's all the muscles of the back and the chest. So let's take a look at some of the arm muscles. Arms, 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 arms. So if you remember, this guy is clavobrachialis from up on the shoulder. This guy right here, this is the lateral head of the triceps brachii. This guy is the long head of the triceps brachii.
Wait, the lateral head is where's the leg?
Yes, this is the lateral head of the triceps brachii.
That's the one that's cut on the other side.
That's the one that's cut on the other side. So let's take a look at that. So we went through the lateral head of the triceps brachii and exposed some of these cool muscles. The medial head of the triceps brachii, the brachialis, and the anconeus. So the anconeus, you're going to see where there is sometimes a line where the medial head of the triceps brachii ends, and at the other end of that is going to be the anconeus moving down here onto the elbow in this general area. Okay? Now let's look at the other side real quick. So, right here, this is the one we cut. It's called the epitrochlearis. Did you just run out of?
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Okay, this one is called the epitrochlearis. That's the one we cut. Underneath the epitrochlearis, and if we move everything else aside, you're going to see the biceps brachii right here.
Sorry, your hand. Okay, there you go.
Does anyone know what the biceps brachii is homologous to in the mud puppy?
Suprascrotal.
I think it's procoracohumerus. Let me check. No. Hold on. I got to get this one right.
No, it's the humero-antebrachialis.
Yes, humero-antebrachialis.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, yeah. All right, now let's go to the lower arm. Yeah? Oh, supra and infraspinatus. I'm sorry about that. Thanks, Vu. Okay, so let's go on to the arm. Dorsal arm. Pretty simple. This one right here, this one is the brachioradialis. Everybody should know it. Then we have 4 on the top. Now this is the way I remember these. Everything on the dorsal arm is an extensor. They go extensor, 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 extensor. So you can just drop that word right off. Then it goes extensor carpi, extensor digitorum, extensor digitorum, extensor carpi. Okay? And then you just have to remember the words at the end. Now this one right here underneath the brachioradialis is extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis. And I usually say that the brevis head of the extensor carpi radialis is on the ventral side. So this one right here, if I was to pin this, this is extensor carpi radialis longus. Right next to it is extensor digitorum communis. Think red menace. Urgh. That's because the tendon goes to all 4 of the paws, all 4 of the digits. Then we have extensor digitorum lateralis, because it's sort of on the lateral end of the arm. Finally, this guy right down here, this is extensor carpi ulnaris. Now, we're moving on. This one trips up everybody. So let's take a look at this side.
Go.
Right here is extensor carpi ulnaris. And right here is flexor carpi ulnaris. In between is this guy. This is not on your test. Do not remember him. Just know that he is between extensor carpi ulnaris and flexor carpi ulnaris, which usually sits on top of him. Don't let it trip you up. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. So, this guy, as we said before, is
Moving.
flexor carpi ulnaris. Then we have this long flat one, which is palmaris longus. Then we have this little two-headed muscle, but we don't memorize either head. This is flexor carpi radialis. Finally, we have this one right here, which usually has a mohawk of tendon hanging off of him. And the reason why, the way I remember this one is he has a mohawk, so he's sort of like a pro skater. And pro skaters tear it up. So this one is pronator teres. And then finally, you'll see extensor carpi radialis brevis from the other side. And that's all of the arm muscles. Let's move on. Actually, there's only one place left to go. It's the neck. So try and keep up. This one's pretty tough. I break the neck up into two places. We start down here with this guy. This is the sternomastoid. Then, right next to him is the sternohyoid. Now, we cut through the sternohyoid to see the stuff in between there. Are you guys picking this up? Yeah, let's see. So, underneath the sternohyoid, you're going to find three muscles, and this guy shows it really well. And you're going to want to come and see this guy again when you actually when we actually have the dissection proficiency out. This guy down here is sternothyroid. And then on the thyroid gland itself, you're going to find cricothyroid. And then above that, where sternothyroid ends, you're going to find thyrohyoid. So the way I usually show this is it's a line, a circle, and then a line. A line, a circle, and then a line. Okay, one last thing on this side. We have the G did it only on one side. We have this guy in here. Where is he? There he is. This guy right here is the clidomastoid. Okay, that's that section. We just went through about 5 or 6 muscles. So this could be one whole station on your test. Moving on.
You wouldn't have more than one.
I could have 2 stations on the neck. I could have up to 3 stations on the neck. There's so many muscles in there. Usually 2, though. Next, we have the top part where the mouth is. This big old one right here, this is the masseter. Then we have this one right here. This is the digastric. And you can see them on this side, the masseter and the digastric. In between them, you're going to find the mylohyoid. Can somebody tell me what the mylohyoid comes from in the mud puppy? Intermandibularis. These are important things to know. So we move the mylohyoid aside, and we're going to see 4 muscles in there. My finger. Oh, God. Oh. Play through the pain. Okay, so we're going to see 4 muscles in here. You're going to find this guy, the geniohyoid. Then right next to him is going to be this guy. This guy is the genioglossus. Then below that, you're going to find this guy, who is the hyoglossus. And then below all that, all the way back here, you're going to find the styloglossus. And there's one last one that you can see on this cat and you can't see on any other cat. The stylohyoid. Okay? And that...
Can you point to the stylohyoid again?
Hold on. You cut me off. I was just about to do my big finish. This is the stylohyoid. Okay, you got it? And that is everything you need to know about the cat.